Okay, so I'm going to try doing my part 2 right now because I think she just fell asleep. Sorry, my hair is poofy right now. So 3 times for the epidural. That really stunk, but once I got it, I was so thankful that I did because I couldn't feel anything from my waist down. And I went from being 4 centimeters dilated to 10 centimeters dilated within, it was like 2 or 3 hours. It was really fast. And then all of a sudden she's like, you'll feel pressure down there when just let us know when you have that, because then you'll have to start pushing. And I'm like, how am I going to be able to feel that? Because like I can't feel anything down there. And she's like, oh, you'll feel it, which I did like very soon after. And it was only the 2 nurses in the room. She's like, okay, well, you can start pushing. So I pushed like 3 times and she's like, okay, stop. And my fiance was in the room the whole time and said that she ended up pushing her head back in because the doctor wasn't there. And they were paging him because the doctor that was supposed to deliver me was over at my doctor's office seeing patients. And so they paged him, and she was really coming out, and I was really trying not to push. And they paged him again because they were getting nervous because her head was starting to come out, and they were like trying to keep her in there. So finally the doctor got there and so they could start pushing. And she kept getting stuck. He said something about like one of her shoulders was dislocated or something. So she was in there really weird. I don't know if it was like at an angle or whatever. But I knew that there was something wrong when the doctor requested that they get a fetal monitor on her. And it wasn't so much when he asked the first time, but it was like 10 seconds later when they didn't have the fetal monitor hooked up on her. And he's like, guys, where's that fetal monitor? We need the fetal monitor right now. And that was when I started to get concerned that like her heart was going to stop or whatever because she was stuck in a weird position. I know she got stuck around her head because she had really bad bruising on her face and especially in the back of her head. So he did an episiotomy, just a little one, which from what I've heard this doctor really does not like doing them. And he doesn't do them unless he really has to. So he did a little one, and she came out after that, but I got a grade 3 tear on top of that, which I'm still healing from, which will be 2 weeks tomorrow. I still have the stitches, and it's a pain to go to the bathroom, so I use the little squirt bottle every time I go. And I'm still bleeding. Not a lot, but I just want to stop bleeding. So I got a grade 3 tear. She came out okay. Her shoulder's fine. She's okay now. She was, well, I posted it in my other video, but she was 8 pounds, 15 ounces, and I think she was 21 1/4. But I have two pieces of paper from the hospital that say two different things. And one of them, the one that says 21 1/2 inches, is the one that they filled out in the room. And then the one that they put in the bed says 21 1/4. Which I'm pretty sure I remember her saying in the room, like right after she was born, that she was 21 1/4. So somebody wrote something wrong. But the nurses in the hospital, like, it was so crazy because I constantly had different nurses. They were always asking the same thing. How many piercings do you have? How many tattoos do you have? And the doctor that delivered me was really wonderful, though. Oh, another thing, I wasn't able, the 3rd stage of labor is to birth the placenta, or to, birth it, I guess. I don't really know what you call that, but my placenta was stuck to my uterus because I guess it's attached, to the uterus wall anyways, a little bit, but mine was really on there. So right after she came out, he tried pulling it out with the umbilical cord, didn't ask me to push or anything, and it was stuck, so he had to stick his hand up there and remove it, kind of like scrape the placenta off from my uterus, which for that reason and for tearing and the episiotomy, I am so thankful that I had the epidural, because if I had felt any of that, I mean, I'm already traumatized as it is from that. Like, I don't know. She was worth every bit of it, but it was definitely not what I expected. I guess more things went wrong than I thought would. So, he said it was really stuck on there. So finally, but that came out in chunks. The placenta didn't come out all in one piece. Blech, that's gross. You had to, bleh. Anyways, so, the nurses in the hospital annoyed me because none of them said the same thing. Like, they're all trying to give you advice and, you know, tell you how to handle your baby or whatever, which is fine, because being a new mom, you know, I could use advice, but makes it difficult when everybody tells you something different. And, you know, when doctors say, or like the pediatricians come in and examine them and they're like, you know, don't lay them on their side, you know, make sure that they're on their back. And then you get a nurse that constantly takes her out of the room to examine her and run the tests or whatever, and it brings her back and it always has her on her side. It's like, you guys are not, the hospital was not even in sync at all. But my fiance went with the nurses every time that they took her out of the room, except for once, because we just don't trust them. Like, he said when he walked with her to go and have, like, the tests done or whatever, even if it was at 3 o'clock in the morning, he would get up and go with the nurse, you know, to watch them. And he said that they were like babies in the hallway, just in the things, and there were, you know, tons of babies screaming in the nursery, and just nobody, like, taking care of them. And you have to get buzzed into the labor and delivery floor, and he said that sometimes, like, they would buzz one person in, and a ton of people would just come in behind them because the doors were open. So it's, like, not a very well monitored hospital. And, oh, the other thing, right after she was born, when they pricked their foot to get blood, she was squeezing the crap, the nurse was squeezing the crap out of her foot, trying to get a little bit of blood for a test or whatever. And she, like, Jade just started screaming, but she was, like, really, like, pressing her foot and trying to massage it and get the blood out of there. And she kept pricking her. And then finally she pricked her on the ankle. Like, and she still has a little scab from it. Like, it's like a little line from where she pricked her on the ankle to get her blood. Like, they're not, nurses are just, oh, I gotta go, hold on.